Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda. I am MegaFreak400 and we have saved Princess Zelda. She is now safe in the sanctuary thanks to us. Yes, I'm the one who helped her from the wizard. And yeah, if he had actually captured her, the seal of the wise one would have been broken, but luckily it's not because she's not in his clutches. So if he releases the seal, evil will overwhelm the land, and before that happens, we have to destroy the wizard. Before we destroy Hyrule, we can do it. You can do it. You're a dolphin. No. Mighty evil force that guides the wizard. That's interesting. The only weapon potent enough to defeat the wizard is the legendary Master Sword. It is said that the village elder is a descendant of one of the 7 wise men. Maybe he can tell you more. I will mark his house on your map, but watch every move. Why is it the maidens that are the ones that... I mean, the elder is a descendant as well. There are several descendants that are said throughout this game. Why is it the maidens are the only ones who need to be taken care of? I guess because they have a certain direct bloodline? Or because they're female? Because, I don't know. It doesn't explain why. It's the females. Now, the thing that is interesting... Or maybe it's because, I guess, the thing is, the 7 wise men, if you played Ocarina of Time, the 7 wise men are basically the sages from Ocarina of Time, supposedly. 7th being Zelda, because there was 6, I believe, and then Zelda was the 7th. So that's why Zelda is also one of the maidens. So it's quite possible that the 7 maidens are the sages of sorts of this time period. They you know how like you had to awaken all the sages in Ocarina of Time. Well, you have to, they're like Dormant, or you know, they're the ones with the sage power. There's various descendants, but they are the ones with the power of the sages. I guess would be the best logical take. Anyway, we're in Kakario Village. This is the one of the places that seems to be found in various Zelda games. This one, as well as like Death Mountain and a few others areas, as well as other things. But Kakario Village has, you know, this nice peaceful music, and here we need to find the village elder. If we don't find the village elder, well, bad stuff will happen. Not only bad stuff, we won't be able to get the Master Sword. The legendary sword, as Zelda said, that is of evil's bane. It will bane evil into gone. So who are you? The elder? Oh, no one has seen him since the wizard began collecting victims. That's sad. Well, I don't remember the details exactly, but long ago, possibly people know as the aren't we the Hylia? Whatever. Legend tells of many treasures that the Hylia hid throughout the land. The Master Sword, a mighty blade forged against those with evil hearts, is one of them. He will say that now it sleeps deep in the forest. Well, then why can't we go grab it? I mean, yeah, if you play this game, you know there's more to it than just grabbing the sword, but Link doesn't know that. You know, he could just walk in there and go attempt to grab it. Granted, you're playing a game, I know. And technically you could go and get it, and you could just, you know, it'll find out that you can't, but either way, we need to go find the Elder, and we can't, no one knows where he is, but, as the lady said, someone probably knows where he is. He's not here anymore. He's in hiding. And this guy is a bottle salesman. He is a pretty awesome dude. Basically, you can buy a bottle from him. It's one of 4 bottles in the game. Magic bottles, not just bottles. Magic bottles. Why are they magic? I don't know, but they are magic for some reason. They don't do anything different than a regular bottle, but they're magic because the game wields it so. One of the bottles later on will be quite difficult of sorts, just like any Zelda game. There's always one bottle that's pretty hard to get. In trying to think of the one. Majora's Mask had some balls that were pretty hard, but not like any that were extremely hard. Here's one of the balls that's in the back of the pub. Ocarina of Time had the Po bottle. I think that was one of the bottles that was pretty tedious for just a bottle. I mean, it's not like hard, but there's usually like a tedious quest to get one of the bottles, or you don't get the bottle until very late in the game. But yeah, so there's 2 bottles you can get here. One you can get a little bit later, and then one that's quite a bit later of sorts. Sorry about my yard. Thanks for visiting. I will tell you an interesting story. There is a lake swimming with Zora at the source of the river, but it is hard to find. The treasure of the Zora can turn people into fish. I'd love to see that. If you're wondering, if you've never heard of this game before, Zora, wait, I thought they first appeared in Ocarina of Time. Well, there's two types of Zora. There's the River Zora and the freshwater ocean. I don't know what they call them, but the non-River Zora. And here we have this little sick boy. He is sick because of the mountain, and he will give us a bug catching net because he can't use it right now. The bug catching net can be used to grab fairies as well as I believe magic bees, which I don't know if they're magic bees or bees, but they can be stored in bottles and released, and then I think the bee will attack people for you, which is pretty awesome. And this little boy over here, this is the one that knows where the Elder is. So he will put it on our map, and we can go there now. I believe, technically if you don't have it, I don't know if you can go see him, but either way, he'll mark on your map. You would think you could just skip, sequence break and go to the where the Elder is anyway, but I'm not 100% sure. Here is a shop with awesome music and an awesome dude. I bought bombs here. Technically, you can find bombs other places, and I didn't really need to buy bombs here, but I bought bombs because, you know, I just wanted to make sure I had them. Not that it matters. I'm gonna have plenty of rupees, or start to get plenty of rupees pretty soon. So, because it's pretty easy to make rupees in this game. There's tons of places to get rupees. Various places you can get rupees. Anyway, back to the Zora. The Zora, there's the River Zora and the Ocean Zora. The Ocean Zora are the ones that are like the ones that people think of, and the River Zora are the monster ones that you fight and that attack you. And they never appear in any game together except Oracle of Ages, I believe, is the only one. The River and the Ocean Zora. The Ocean Zora have their own domain, and then the River Zora attack you. In this one, the River Zora, the River Zora will interact with you. At least one of them will, but for the most part, they're just enemies. But you know, it's interesting. The fact that there's two species that are named the same thing, but they're technically not they're not even the same really species. They're, I don't even know what you would. They're two different species. It's basically because they don't even look the same. They don't really. The only biology they share is they're both water creatures. My son really liked to play the flute, but he went to look for the golden power and has not returned. He's probably dead. So, too bad. Nice lady in a river. I'm sure you'll like her, probably, but I don't have time for that now. I gotta go find an elder so I can get a sword to stick into some wizard. The standard fare. So this is the first Zelda game in which, in the original Zelda, you just had a bunch of old men in caves. That's all you had to interact with people. This one actually has, like, people. Oh crap, soldiers. Well, that was no problem. He was pretty simple to take care of. So yeah, certain people in this village will rat on you if they see you and be like, oh, he's wanted. Soldiers, come get him so I can get my reward. Yo, Omega, this house used to be a hideout for a gang of thieves. Their leader was named Blind, and he hated bright light a lot. This will come into key way later in the game. For now, it has no relevance at all to our quest, but it does come important. It is important fact later on. No spoilers for those who have not played the game. And in here we will get another heart piece, which is pretty awesome. Heart pieces in this game actually come pretty quickly to you. They're not that hard to get. This is the first game with heart pieces, I believe, because Zelda 2 did not have heart pieces or really even a heart system. And Zelda had hearts. They didn't have heart pieces, they just had full hearts that you could get. So this is the first game that used heart pieces. Interesting little tidbit. But yeah, they're not too difficult to get the heart piece, and because there's so many bosses, a lot of the hearts you get from just the heart containers you get from the bosses. It's only like a few hearts you get from the pieces. So, this game is pretty fast for the most part when you think about it. It's not, if you know what you're doing, and if you've played it before, it can go pretty quickly. It doesn't make it any less fun though, in my opinion. It's still a pretty awesome game. So there we got a lot more rupees, and now we can go buy that bottle, actually. I love the music. That's one thing. Zelda game has... Well, every game. A lot of games I really like, but Zelda definitely has a fantastic soundtrack. Probably another reason why I prefer this over Ocarina of Time, because Ocarina of Time basically just took a lot of the music from this game, and then just... It had some original songs as well, but, like... a lot of the staple themes came from this game, and a lot of people who remember Ocarina of Time don't even. It just feels like this game gets a little bit of the shaft. I shouldn't say that though, because it's still a well-known game, and it's still it's not like it's obscure or anything. It just feels like Ocarina of Time gets more attention than this game does. Mostly because it was the first 3D game, and I can understand. I know I'm talking a lot about Ocarina of Time, but I'm doing that technically because, this game, Ocarina of Time did take a lot from this game. There's a lot you can compare between these two games, more so than any other Zelda game, in my opinion. Besides maybe there's probably others that you can compare really closely. Like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, you can compare, of course. You can compare any of the Zelda games, but in terms of the plot, the music, a lot of stuff in Ocarina of Time is very similar to this game, as opposed to any other game. Like Majora's Mask had the same graphics and the same gameplay of sorts, but it was vastly different than Ocarina of Time. And it's not to say Ocarina of Time is exactly this game. That's not true. It's not even really close to true. So let's head up to the Lost Woods. Not to get the sword, because, again, we can't get the sword, even though it would be nice if we could just grab the sword and finish the game now. We can't get the Master Sword yet, because we need stuff to be able to do that. What kind of stuff? Well, you'll find out later. Here we have the Lost Woods, which has a really awesome song. I've always preferred this version of the Lost Woods over the one in any of the other games. The Saria song, is really awesome. I like it, but this just has a really awesome feel to it. I really like the tune, and the mist, adds to the atmosphere, the environment. Which is disappointing because after you do get the Master Sword, spoiler alert, yeah, you do get the Master Sword, of course. It's just kind of common knowledge. Here we have a mushroom. We don't need this, it's not required, but it is something that will be cool to have, so we will be getting the mushroom because it will be helpful, and you will find out eventually why it will be useful. But yeah, after you get the Master Sword, this music disappears, which is disappointing. It's like, I mean, granted, you don't come back here anymore, but it's like, dude, I really love this music. You should have just loved it here. This music is so awesome, dude. Why did that thief just steal my rupees and bombs? I shouldn't sing because I can't sing, but I love to sing. There's a secret hideout game for thieves. Don't enter without permission. It's not that secret. It had a whole entrance. It was pretty obvious that this was a hideout. Well, I guess not really a hideout, but... Oh, harpies. Let's go grab that. Since, we might as well collect heart pieces. It's kind of my hobby. So over here is a secret entrance. Yay! Do. Now, speaking of overrated or underrated Zelda games, the Oracle games are easily the most underrated in my opinion. Because considering the fact that they're really good and yet they're not talked about all that much. They're in my opinion, probably my top 5 in combination of Zelda games. They're really great. I don't know. I will say right now, I've never been a big fan of the 3D Zelda games, or I've always kind of preferred the 2D ones, but that's not entirely true because I do like some of the 3D ones. I really love Majora's Mask, and I do love Wind Waker as well. And in all honesty, as much as I, nitpick about, games like Ocarina of Time, partly because a lot of people talk about it a lot, and I kind of, in retaliation, talk about its flaws a lot, because people talk about how good it is a lot. I love every Zelda game. There isn't one Zelda game I dislike, not counting the CDI games, but those aren't Zelda games. But yeah, I love every Zelda game. And why would you steal your brother in his room? That's just going to an extreme, man. Not to mention the fact that I believe he has a door anyway, so it's not like he was that sealed. He could have just walked out the door, jumped off the cliff, and come back in. So what was the point of doing that? That just wasted materials. That was pointless, dude. But yeah, ultimately, I love every Zelda game. So as much as I nitpick about it, I love all of them. I just don't like Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is probably my least favorite, but I love all the Zelda games. So here we have this little bit of a mini game. This mini game will net us a heart piece, as you can see. I am taking the wrong path. Unfortunately, this is not a good way of going about it. But yeah, this is pretty simple. It's not that difficult if you know what you're doing. It's a pretty easy to handle minigame. You want to go this way. This is the way that will be the quickest. And after I get this heart piece, that'll be about it for this episode. So this has been Mega Freak 400, and I'm reminding you that heart pieces taste like candy.